Happy day, it's Down Home with Tina. I'm your host, Tina Thompson, and I love that it's May because my special day is in May. I'm sorry, I love birthdays. It's not just because it's my birthday. I love everybody's birthday, but May is a pretty cool month, I think. So many awesome things happen in May, but I am wearing white. It's not just because summer is right around the corner. It is because you'll have to find out. You have to watch and find out why I decided to wear white for this episode. Anyways, folks, I do have coming up Fairhope Hospice, the CEO, for the very first time, and I can't wait to chat with her. And then I also am going to highlight my First Responder of the Month, which is something that's a little special and different as well. So don't go anywhere. It's Down Home with Tina.
What makes Fairhope what it is our staff. It's always a question that we ask, why do you want to be here with us? And what they most always say is, you've touched my life this way. You know, you took care of this person, or I've seen what you've done and I want to do that. And so the staff that have been here know what it takes. They've been on the other side. They see what it takes to make someone comfortable, to make the family comfortable, and really what kind of support they need. And so I think that's what really makes Fairhope what it is.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. I'm so very excited because I have President and CEO of Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care and Home of the Pickering House.
Home of the Pickering House.
What am I saying? Kristin Glasure. I was like, I wanted to add more to it because sometimes there are these long titles. I'm like, okay, let's add a little bit more. No, I'm so excited to have you to speak with me. It was years ago when I did radio that I started talking with Rick Schneider. And we were just discussing a little bit just a few minutes ago, and if people are wondering, because it is about hospice care,
right.
And so you think of end of life. Well, instead of thinking about end of life, think about living your life till the end.
Absolutely.
Is really, and I think that's why I wore white today, because when I think of death, I know it's a word many people don't like to think about, but when I think of that, I don't think of dark.
No.
I think of light, and I think it's because I've tried to live my life in a way of always trying to be positive. I don't think that I am always positive. We all have those times when it's not. Especially when we do have somebody that passes. That can be the hardest time of our life.
Right.
But that's what Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care is about celebrating life.
It is.
And I love it. And that's why I'm so excited. I'm going to let you talk. I promise I'm going to let you talk, folks.
Oh, no. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I've been so excited to be here with you. So
I'm excited that we can finally make it happen too,
yeah,
Kristin.
for sure.
So, yeah, how many years have you been a part of Fairhope?
Yeah, it feels like forever in a great way. So we were talking a little earlier that I'm a social worker. I had my degree in social work. And when I graduated from college, I started with Fairhope. We were then called Hospice of Fairfield County, so it was many years ago. So I was able to really be a part of that from the very beginning when we started to grow. This year is our 40th year. So I worked with Fairhope for several years, went on, lived my life, learned a lot of things, and then they asked me to come back about 8 years ago, which was really nice. We had grown so much. We have the Pickering House now, and I just came back about 8 years ago. Moved from social work manager to vice president, and I've been CEO for almost 3 years.
What's it been like so far?
It's incredible. When they came to me and they said, we really like you to consider this position, I thought I had to look twice and think, all right, are they talking to me? But I was really touched by that, and I felt like it was an honor, but it was really great because I got to see the very beginning of Fairhope, like how we started when we were taking care of, 20 or 30 patients. Now we take care of anywhere from 150 to 180 patients every day. So It was really an honor. I've learned so much. I have a great team around me, and I'm just really excited.
Don't you think that's about a lot of it is the team that you have that makes it so successful?
Absolutely.
Most importantly, for your patients.
Absolutely. And it's funny when the board came to me and said, hey, would you be interested in this? And I said, sure. And I said, but I'm a social worker. I'm not an accountant. I don't know the numbers. That's not my strong point. And they said to me, you build the team around you that makes you strong, and it will benefit the agency. And that's what we've done over the past 2.5 years. Build a great team. The patients benefit from it. So the community does. It's been great.
Okay, because you are considered as a nonprofit. How do you do it? With making it work
every day. Part of that, obviously, you have to pay the bills. You have to pay attention to that. So we're funded through Medicare and Medicaid, private insurances. But here's the thing, because of all the donations, so oftentimes if you'll hear that donations go to Fairhope Hospice, all of those donations go right back to take care of our patients. So let's say that Medicare gives us this many dollars a day to take care of a patient, so we have to provide all of our care within that dollar amount. So if someone comes to us and they don't have insurance, they don't have coverage, it doesn't matter. We never ever turn anybody away because of their inability to pay. We use those donations from this great community.
Some people, and I have heard this as a misconception, I think it is, they just want you to you're going to die. You're going to go there and you're going to die.
Right.
What is that about?
No. You know, that hospice is a hard word. And as you talked about earlier, end of life and death and dying is a really hard word. But here's the thing. Fairhope, we have the opportunity to do this, and we have to do it right the first time. So what we want to do is we would love to be able to step in a little earlier in that progression of a disease. Here's what happens is someone will get a diagnosis, a terminal diagnosis, and at that point they've exhausted everything that there is to do to make them get better. So once you realize, hey, I've done everything I can do, all the chemo, all the radiation, all the treatments, I'm not going to get better, then we want to take them and we want to hold them in our hands and help them have that great quality of life till their last day.
Living your life to the end.
Yes, exactly.
And that's what,
Exactly.
I have a couple of, a friend and a family member, actually. She's like one of the matriarchs, I say, in the family, that two people I know right now, as I speak to you, that have just decided to no longer take their treatments for cancer. What does that mean? Exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
It's not that they're choosing to die. It's choosing that they want to live their life in a quality way of life and live to the end. And then when you need to step in is when the pain, when it becomes so unbearable for them to live their life. It gives them that comfort. It gives the family comfort.
It's the whole treatment, it's holistic. It is, we treat the whole family because, and not only the whole family, but the patient. So if you think about this, it's not only about just taking care of their symptoms, like helping to make them feel comfortable, because this is a real study, and I like to talk about this because when patients sign on to hospice, their life is extended sometimes 4 to 6 to 8 weeks because they are comfortable. They're not making trips back and forth to the hospital. They're peaceful. And if we can give somebody that extra time, that's so important.
And sometimes, and I know this from just speaking with Rick in the past, is that sometimes it takes that volunteer that might go in to speak or be with one of the patients in their home and give the family respite or whatever. Sometimes there are some people who just want to share things in their life that they would never share to anybody in their family, but for some reason they're more comfortable to share it with a stranger or somebody, and it almost gives them another level of peace of mind, peace of heart, just giving it. And I'm just talking about things that they just feel better about sharing with somebody that they don't know. And we would never know what some of those things are, obviously, but it is. I mean, I can only imagine what it is for folks.
Well, you know, that goes back to treating the whole person, because there are more things involved. When you're trying to tidy up your life and prepare for what's next, there are things that you want to talk about and take care of. So not only do we treat the physical body, but we have a spiritual team of chaplains that will come in, meet that patient wherever they are, you know, whatever they want to talk about. There's also the psychosocial needs. So you have a social worker. Maybe somebody needs to make things right spiritually. Maybe they need to really work on pulling a family back together. One last thing they need to do. You know, none of our families are perfect. We all have things. And sometimes when you're facing that crisis, you really want to make those things right.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if you want to know, but I found there were a couple of families that I knew in the past. And my first time to see somebody pass was with a good friend of mine, and she was with her mother, and it was at the Pickering house.
Really?
And it was somebody else who I knew, and her husband, and I got to be there. And it's a sad thing, but what a beautiful way to see your loved ones be right there at your side.
Yeah, and allowing them to be loved ones and just be in the moment and let us come in and take care of the rest of it. You know, so I talked earlier about like our census, our patients. We have about 150 to 170 patients at any different time. but those patients are all over. So not only do we serve right here in Fairfield County,
Yes.
but all counties, anywhere that we can reach within an hour of the Pickering House, which is just on 282 Sells Road. So wherever you call home, we have patients in assisted livings, nursing facilities, in their homes, anywhere from Athens to Licking County to, you know, Canal Winchester, all of those areas. Because if someone can't, maybe they don't want to be in their home at end of life, maybe that's very important to them.
Right. That's what makes the Pickering House an
Yes.
available place for
Yeah.
folks to come, right?
Yeah.
If
And
they
we
don't
can meet
wanna-
them where those needs are.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely love it. And I was going to say something else. Oh, Fairhope.
Yes.
So, what is the word? It's
Do you
breaks
know
down.
this?
I do, but I just think
Okay.
it's very interesting. So,
I do
think I don't want to
too.
be wrong. What is it? Fairfield, Hawking, Pickering,
Perry.
Perry,
Yes.
Pickering County. There's no Pickering County. There's
You
a
were
Licking
you were
County,
thinking
and there's
Pickering
Perry,
House.
and there.
Yeah.
I was putting the counties all together for you all. Yeah, but
That's
I love
great
the
that
word
you
hope.
know that.
Rick, good old Rick, he taught me so much back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, because you cover all of those areas.
We
is
do,
with us.
and so I can't remember exactly what year it was that we transitioned from Hospice of Fairfield County to Fairhope, and those were the bulk of our counties that we served. So since then, you know, we've grown a lot. But that really was the name of that, and that was so interesting because I thought, well, someone was really brilliant that came up with that, and it's just stuck. It's great.
Well, I love it too because it's like also that fair part is Fairfield, and my favorite word's hope. So I just think the word hope in it is the coolest thing, although I know what it was supposed to be.
Perfect. It fits.
What maybe is another misconception, Kristin, that you can share with folks when it does come to end of life,
Yeah, I think
living to the end care?
Yeah, I do think that a lot of people just feel that, I hate the word, but they think that, well, the doctor has told them that there's really nothing else they can do and they need hospice. So, I mean, a lot of people instantly just think, this is it, this is the end, I've got days to live. They're afraid to accept, you know, pain management, pain medications, because they're not sure how that's going to affect them. That's a big misconception. But really, there's so much more to that. Like, you know, we want them to be able to be awake and alert and comfortable for as long as they can, to enjoy their family. And some people really will kind of resist that because they think that will push them, you know, a little closer to the end. And really, it's just about that nice fine line of comfort.
Right, and it's probably different for every
It's
family,
so
individual.
different for everybody.
So it's probably wise that for anybody that has questions or anything, meet up with you all, have a meeting to find out what is best for a loved one when faced in that situation. The last thing I know for myself, if I were to ever be diagnosed with anything, is I would want my kids to know and to be comforted in knowing that I would be taken care of in the end, in the best care possible.
Yeah, perfect. It's absolutely important for us. And not only that, but we have a great grief department.
Yes,
so when
you do.
When the patient passes, we treat all of those survivors for 13 months following the death. No charge, nothing. It's just what we need to do to make sure that that next group is coping well and handling things.
And you have that available for children
Absolutely,
as well, right?
in the school systems, and there's no charge.
What, if anybody is interested whatsoever in becoming a volunteer or donating or anything like that, Kristin, how would they do so?
Absolutely. Please just call one phone number at 740-654-7077. Our webpage is fairhopehospice.org. Make one phone call. We'll help you out.
And it's about celebrating life.
It is.
And living to the end, because that's what I believe in. We got to celebrate. We get that chance of being here, and but Kristin, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much for
being with
having me today.
And folks, don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a minute. It's Down Home with Tina.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Dagger Law has more than 110 years of experience in nearly every aspect of the law. When we're not just helping clients, we're helping the community. You'll see us at festivals, sporting events, and around town because we live and work here too. We are your neighbors, and we want to help you when you need it. When we help each other, we're stronger. Our community is stronger. Creating a strong, vibrant, healthy, and safe community is everyone's responsibility, and we take the responsibility seriously. We are local, we are trusted, we are experienced.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. It is my First Responder of the Month. My First Responder of the Month is brought to you by Bay Food Market. And with me, she was out on patrol, but she is now at Community Response Unit, part of that. She is with the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. I have Deputy Laura Foster.
Yes.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you because you are doing something that's really cool and interesting, and I've always wanted to learn another language, but we're not going to get to that first because I really wanted to know, why did you decide to go into law enforcement?
So, funny enough, law enforcement is something I've always wanted to do. I was the little girl who grew up watching Cops and would go around and arresting my family members sometimes. So
that's great.
I guess it just kind of
did you have the ticket book and your everything? This is what you did wrong.
Well, I had a fake little notepad.
Yeah,
so,
that's it. I love it.
But it's just always been something I wanted to do. I kind of did it through high school too. I went to the Career Center. I did criminal justice in high school, and then I kind of went away, went to college to be a Spanish teacher.
Oh, my goodness.
But then I realized that my heart just wasn't really into it as I thought it was. Yeah. So then I went and actually got my certification and became a law enforcement officer and been with the Sheriff's Office actually since I've gotten certified.
So, and when was that? How long has it been?
So I've been with the Sheriff's Office for about 6 years now. 6.5 years. Yes.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't realize. So you just came off of patrol?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did.
What was that like?
That's a different ball game. So they definitely do say you do see a lot of different things. You get exposed to different things. And in the academy, they only teach you so much. And they actually tell you during the academy that we are going to teach you basics. Most of it you are going to learn when you're out on patrol. You're actually doing the job. Yeah. And that's actually correct because they can only prepare you for so much.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was actually pretty cool to see the actual real world aspect of it.
Really? What are you still very glad that you decided to go into law enforcement?
Oh, yes.
I
Very
mean, it
much
was
so, yes.
Were you completely shocked with some of the things once you and I'm only asking you this for those who are so excited about going into law enforcement.
That's I was a little shocked because in a classroom you only get the classroom aspect of it.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you're getting the hands-on, and I'm personally a hands-on learner. So
I'm the same. Yeah.
Seeing all the stuff in person, it's like, oh wow, this is not how I expect it to be. And then you get to learn how you react to certain aspects because I didn't think I'd react the way I did to certain things.
Because until it happens, would you really know what it's going to be like for you as an individual? Because I'm wondering how many do go out there gun-ho and very excited about going into it and then realizing, oh, I don't know if this really is something that could be for me. I remember going out and it was just, and I know they are careful when you go on a ride-along. I went on a ride-along with the local, the police department a few years ago, but also with fire department, and they're the same. You never know what you're going to get. Every single day you go out there and you get in your patrol car, and it's kind of like, what's going to happen next? It's from different.
Oh yeah, and just the different exposures that you get, because the term that's always thrown around is the fight or flight method. And if you're in a situation where you're like, okay, I've never been in this situation, how am I going to act? Am I going to act scared and just freeze at the moment, or am I going to be able to actually act on it? Because the academy, you learn with your classmates, it's not actually something that either threatens your life or you're just trying to, because there are some things you look at and you interact with and you're kind of like, is this really a thing? So
you probably do. You ever at the end of the day you go home and you go, never imagined that would have ever been something I would have experienced in my life. That you just are kind of like, wow, how do you keep going? How do you do it? Because, you guys are like heroes to me and to many people in this world.
You learn not to bring a lot of things home, especially the bad. So at least lots of different things, good, bad, whatever, you're going through it with your coworkers. Yep. So you learn to, if you want to talk about it, you have your coworkers, you have everybody who's been in the same experiences or exposures that you have been, so you know who to talk to and who you can talk with.
And there's always somebody that's probably been in a similar situation. They may see it different, because it's not like you're not reinventing what goes on in the world. It's always been going on in the world. So one of the other officers, or deputies or somebody is going to be probably experienced somehow, somewhere.
Yeah, and that's the benefit that there is there's always somebody there to speak with.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. So you are an interpreter then. You said a Spanish teacher.
Yes.
So have you always known Spanish?
Yes. So I'm actually a Hispanic. I come from Hispanic heritage myself. My mom's Mexican, dad's Puerto Rican.
And so you were born, and they taught you right from the
taught from the get-go. I didn't learn English until I went to school.
Okay.
Yes. So it's definitely been difficult to grow up learning both languages at the same time.
Because the English is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah. Sorry. It really can be.
Plus, you get a little flustered because, and I know you've probably heard the term Spanglish, but that's a true thing where sometimes you might think of the word in English, but you can't remember what it is and you only know it in Spanish. And that actually happens to me quite a bit. But so it's awesome learning two languages because I'm actually the only Spanish speaker person for the sheriff's office. So I'm actually they use me to interpret for a lot of situations. Okay. So it's actually very cool to be able to be exposed to and be used in that aspect.
And so now that I had mentioned earlier in the segment about being on patrol and now you're off and you're part of the community response unit and this is what it is that you're now doing?
Yes. Okay. And we still get involved with the community. So aside from this, I just started this unit, but a good chunk, about 70% of it, is teaching. And so we'll go around to schools, we'll talk to the seniors, we'll talk to anybody from the ages of preschoolers to senior citizens.
What do you talk to them about?
Sometimes we'll talk to them about senior scams. We'll do anything from senior scams to defense and all different aspects like that. And sometimes we'll even go and just talk to them.
What do you think one of the biggest things that it comes with seniors that you can share with them to help them with the scams in that situation? Because it changes all the time, I'm sure. I mean, those scammers get more and more clever, I think, as we go.
And the one thing I would just say is just to trust your gut. Just because sometimes we get that little feeling where it's like, this doesn't seem quite right. I'm not too sure. Trust it, because sometimes it could save you from having just maybe something minor happen to something as wide as maybe someone stole your identity and has taken all your money type of situation. Right. So.
Yeah. I think that they're just awful people out there.
Well. Unfortunately, the world that we live in nowadays, you can never be too safe.
Right. And for our seniors, it just sometimes I'll put people in a ball and just shake them up. Yeah. Not hurt them, just shake them up just enough to them to be like,
or just put them in a box to keep them safe from the world.
That's right. Yes, exactly. So anyway, so you do the interpreting then as well. And how often do you find that you've had to go out for that?
So sometimes I don't go out. They'll just call me.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
What am I thinking?
But when I was on patrol, I actually would go out a good chunk. So I used to report out of the Pickerington station, and there is a huge Spanish population within Pickerington, Canal Winchester, and that surrounding area. Okay. We do get some here in Lancaster, but just not quite as much as I would be needed out there.
If you come across somebody who does speak Spanish, what is the best thing that you can say to them? Because I have, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what is the best thing? What is the most polite thing to explain to them that you don't speak Spanish? No hablo español. I mean, I know that's one.
That'd probably be the most simple thing. Or some people who maybe know a little bit, just say, solo sé poquito. Poquito is a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what we typically tell people, just because you don't want to tell them too much that you won't understand the response to.
Correct. Yes. Right. Yes.
So that way, at least that way, they can get the gist of, okay, maybe they don't know English, and sometimes they'll just rely to their phones too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true too. Because I'm acting like I don't have a phone or anything, you guys.
Yeah, but not a lot of people realize that there's different dialects depending on where you go to.
Oh, there are. Okay.
Yeah. So every It's like you have Old English and you have New English.
Okay.
So you have that type of thing too in the Spanish.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show with me
You're
today.
welcome.
And I know that you, as First Responder of the Month, this is from Ava Jewelers. It's a little nice gift to give to you
Thank
from
you
them.
very much.
And thank you for what you do.
Oh, no
and keep on
problem.
going. And I know I always keep them all in my prayers, y'all. So you keep them in your prayers as well, too.
Yes.
And then good luck with everything with
Thank
the
you very
community
much.
response unit. And folks, don't go anywhere. I have got a cute little thing to share with you about something that I reached out to some teachers locally, and they did it. Their students. They had their students do it. So don't go anywhere. It's Down Home with Tina.
I believe recovering from self is one of the bravest things that anybody can do, and it is an absolute honor to be able to witness people evolve, grow, find purpose in their lives.
The reason why I do what I do is I love helping people, and I really love to work on understanding and striving to improve the lives of the people in our community. Being in Fairfield County is having a network of people around you.
I like helping veterans, and I think I like that my job is never the same day to day. Every day brings a new set of challenges to overcome and new people to help, so it's always changing.
Community, connections, collaboration. The Fairfield County Way.
Down Home with Tina is brought to you by these amazing sponsors. And one of my sponsors is Bay Food Market. I like to highlight them because they have just amazing meats. So Memorial Day is coming up, a lot of different graduations. They have their brats, they have their steak, they have their hamburger, a great place. So just stop in there and check out all of the delicious and yummy food that they have for you for your party or your event. So I have a lot of connections now in the Camp Lejeune area in North Carolina. That is near Emerald Isle and some of the different beaches on the East Coast. And so with that being said, I know that in the military, there is sometimes things that happen, and I don't know the number statistic-wise, but it is a bigger number than I wish to ever even have knowledge of. But suicide is something that happens. And I think that that is really just sad, especially when it comes to our heroes. So I had reached out to a friend of mine, and then I had put out on my Facebook page asking any teachers if they would be interested in having their students do some really cool, like, letters or pictures for the military, active military. So from Liberty Union Elementary, it's Miss Wentz, Miss Putnam's, and Mrs. Buzzkirk. They have their classes and some youth and students do some letters. And so I wanted to give a shout out to them and thank them for taking the time to do that for our active military, as well as Tarhee Trails in Lancaster, Mrs. Barber, her class, that is third grade class, and they just have great little messages. Thank you for fighting for us. Thanks for keeping us safe, and thank you for being helpful. You are so kind, and thank you for being our hero. So I just wanted to share that with you all, and thank you to those students and youth that knows what the importance is of our military. So if you want to do the same, you can do the same. Just email me. You can email at downhomewithtina@gmail.com. Folks, have a great week. God bless and good day.